Fight or Fest Night 1, ladies and gentlemen. A lot of show. I'm not using that title, I'm using something else, but this is a lot of show. And I'm not going to cover everything. I want to see what spilled over from night 1 into night 2. That's the reason why I'm not covering it all. Now, I may do a basic mention of it, but there's certain things that's going to happen in night 2 that's coming from night 1. And I find that pretty good. Now, opening, IWGP US title, Carl Anderson versus Mox, who finally just came back after either being actually hurt and actually now he's a daddy. Man's now had a baby. I think it's a little girl. I'm not sure. I don't know. I haven't checked. But congrats to Moxley and congrats to Renee Young. They now have a daughter or son. I think it's a daughter. I think. Now, what does this actually mean? Fuck New Japan Pro Wrestling. Fuck AEW. That's what I always got to do, as long as fuck Impact Wrestling. It's still going on, because I got to do that. Because what's going on in Impact Wrestling is spilling into AEW, which is now showing on AEW from New Japan Pro Wrestling. So what do we get here? We get a New Japan Pro Wrestling match on AEW with New Japan Pro Wrestling rules. You got basically a 60-minute time limit. You got a 20 count out, not a 10 count out. If you go outside, you get 20 count instead of a 10. Fine. This was a good match for what it was. Anderson as well as Mox are good wrestlers. They know how to do the New Japan Pro Wrestling style, which they did. Very little selling. Oh my gosh, it was a lot of little selling. There was a huge amount of no sell in their matches. For Carl, he didn't want to sell. For Mox, he didn't want to sell. That's the way they work in New Japan. And this is the match that they did. Now, a lot of people really liked it. I got to say this, once Mox came out, Wild Thing, people were still screaming that song. And throughout that match, they were screaming for Mox's name and doing the Wild Thing song. Good. This is what you need in your show. Interaction. Are you taking notes? Impact Wrestling. They better be taking notes, because after Slammiversary, if they're still doing no fans, I'm writing them off, as they'll never get anywhere. They may still have great matches, and they may have some compelling storylines, but if they don't willingly get fans in their arena or go somewhere to get fans, you can write them off. They'll never amount to anything. I'm just saying that. Now, Mox retained, and pretty much Archer and him are going to have their dealings next week. I'm not mentioning much. I want to leave it. I want to see how well that's going to develop. I know I can talk about what they said, but I don't want to. I want to see where they're going to go next week, because there's no story there. None. Because, let's be honest, Archer only cared about the world title. When the hell did he care about the New Japan Pro Wrestling IWGP US title? If he cared about it, it should have been done while Mox was still here. Well, there, you know what I mean. It don't matter. There's no story there other than the title. Period. Let's move on. Now, the FTW title being up for contention. And even though they made it very clear in an Excalibur said it, but it meant nothing. Guys, I'm sorry. If anybody thinks that the FTW title isn't worth something, it is. Even though Excalibur said it is not an actual title from AEW, no. Sorry, no. There shouldn't be any title match on regular television for a title that doesn't exist for AEW. It should have been left on a pay-per-view. Let's be honest here. If this was all about Team Taz and something interacting there, this should have been left for pay-per-view. Saying, yes, this isn't a real title, But this is about Team Taz dealing with their business, and it shouldn't be done where a real title would be defended there. This should have been left on a pay-per-view. If you think it shouldn't, well, guess what? If it shouldn't have been there, that means it's not a real title. Guess what? It is. And maybe they'll finally put where it needs to be. And that is on Rampage. It must go to Rampage and must be defended from now on Rampage. That is what I believe it should be. Do I believe they'll do it? Nope. Now, was this a good match? It was a good match for what it was, even though the beginning was highly sloppy. When you see Starks getting beat, once you see Starks get put into a tilt-a-whirl backbreaker, and that's what Brian Cage tried to do, it looked damn sloppy. Either it's because Stark was a bit sloppy, or it's Brian Cage who was a bit sloppy on that particular move. It was sloppy. After that, it started to get a lot more better. And in the end, you get Hook interfering with the ref. You get Hobbs beforehand trying to make sure that he's tricking a little bit of the Brian Cage, because he's trying to trick him. Because once Starks tries to get the title for the second time, bring it into the ring, you see Powerhouse Hobbs grabbing that title and saying, no. And he gets angry, and that is Starks. He looks angry. But they keep going with the match until Hook distracts the ref. And then you get the Hobbs whacking the Cage in the face with it. And guess what? Cage loses, and now Starks has the title, which is the wisest thing to do. Cage doesn't need it anymore. Honestly, he doesn't. He doesn't need the damn title. He was done with it for quite a while, but since Starks to get hurt because of Hangman Page doing that flip and him cracking up his neck, he couldn't just drop it to him, which he should have dropped it several months ago. That's just me. Maybe 2 months ago, month and a half, maybe 2 easily. But that's just me. You guys tell me below where you think they're going to take Brian Cage now, because Brian Cage right now is done. He's been beaten. The question is he part of Team Taz? My guess is no, but because they got to build this up, we won't know until after Fyter Fest Night 2. I don't think it's going to be Fyter Fest night afterward. I don't think we're going to know next week. It's going to be the week after next that we're going to find. I'm botching. You know what I'm botching? Here's the thing. Starks needs that title. He's perfect for it. Brian Cage needs to work with guess who? Christian Cage. I truly believe Brian Cage should be working with Christian Cage. But Christian Cage is working with Jurassic Express right now. And since I am talking about it, I know people are not going to think, how can I say this? When you see Matt Hardy go up against Christian, the problem here is, why is it being put on Fyter Fest? Wouldn't it have been wiser to put it on a pay-per-view? I believe it would have been better, with a stipulation that if Christian loses, he becomes a part of the Matt Hardy brand. Yes, I know it's the Hardy family office. I hate it. That's why I'm saying Matt Hardy brand. That's what I'm going to do. If I don't forget, that's what I'm doing from now on. The Matt Hardy brand is what I'm going to keep saying, because I can't stand the Hardy family. I hate it. It doesn't roll off the tongue. The Hardy family office doesn't roll off the tongue. I'm sorry, guys. The Hardy brand does, but that doesn't. Now, was this a good match? Yes, it was. It wasn't bad at all. I didn't mind it. When they had the lockup at the first part of it, and they refused to let go of the lockup, that was a different dynamic. You got two veterans of over 20 years, each of them, wrestling easily. A style that many people would say, oh, old man wrestling. Oh, this is boring. No, this is psychology. Not every time you need the flips and the kicks. They held their headlocks. No, not headlocks. Their lockup. And they fell out of the ring and they kept holding on to it. That was a different dynamic. Now, if they did the flips and kicks after that, it wouldn't be bad. It actually would have added on to it. So in the end, Christian won the match. But I gotta admit, when you see the 10 count outside, Christian should have already started moving by 6. He had to wait until 8 or 9 before he jumps back into the ring. It looks so choreographed. I do not agree with it. It was wrong. He should have already started moving by 5 or 6, getting over to the over back into the ring, and then by 8 or 9 jump in. I think that would have been better. But that's just me. Jurassic Express came out to save Chris, and the Hardy brand came out to save Hart. That's how it went. I'm just saying, it wasn't bad. But since Christian is working with Jurassic Express right now, I don't see Brian Cage working with Christian, and I think he would actually benefit working with Christian. Even if it's not a tag team, just him working with him. He's working with Jungle Boy. That's what he think he needs, but you know what I mean. And I know you're going to say, well, wait a minute, Brian Cage is more developed than Jungle Boy. Yes, but he was working against Taz before, and I think it would have helped. That's just me, guys. Tell me below. Now, we had a couple of interviews, and Tony Schiavone got I don't know why they keep letting Tony Schiavone do it, because he's always being interrupted. Constantly being interrupted. You never get anywhere, Tony. Let it go. Now, we had several interviews, and one preemptive one. We got Cody. Pissed off as hell that Art Anderson got taken out. He came out, he was mad, pissed the hell off, and he's calling out Mr. Black, Mr. Tony N, or Malachi Black. They couldn't even decide. And this is the thing that I think they screwed up. Why did you have Excalibur say he was Malachi Black? Who was the stupid idiot? I don't care if it was Tony Khan himself. Why did they let Excalibur state that he's Malachi Black instead of Malachi Black saying he's Malachi Black when he was on their damn Titantron? Once Cody called him out, he's on the Titantron. He's pretty much giving a very interesting story that I can't remember right now. But essentially, he made it very clear that no matter what happens, this is his place now. And Cody calls him out. And in the end, they had a nice fight. And one in white suit and a Cody, and one in a dark suit and Malachi Black. They're in my face. I believe I have that shot of them both, white versus black. That's what you got. Do I believe this is going to be good? I don't know. It's going to depend on, It's going to depend on one situation here. When they go to a pay-per-view, that's if they do this at a pay-per-view and not a regular Dynamite or Rampage, will Cody let Malachi Black get over? Because it's been seen more than a few times that Cody has not been letting people get over. Look at the Go-Go. He should have whipped... Calm down. Cody Rhodes should have let his ass get knocked out. Flat out, should have been knocked the fuck out. And then let a Go-Go get somewhere. But no, he let that happen on a Dynamite. So that was the wrong decision. That's just me. You guys tell me below. Now, DMD, Britt Baker's segment, and bring up about Nia Rose and her defending her title next week. Here's the thing. I've never been fond of the character of Britt Baker. Never. I felt that she should act more like a dentist than like a role model. But I'm not going to lie here. Does she sound confident? Hell yes, she does. Does she sound decisive? No. She sounds highly focused. No, not decisive. Does she sound indecisive? No. She sounds highly decisive. She is highly focused. And she made it very clear that I'm Britt Baker. I'm the champ. And no one's better than my ass, even without a title. I am so damn good, there is no one better than me. I don't need to make this title me. In other words, the title's not making me. I'm making the damn title. She made it very clear that the Nia Rose needs that title to be relevant when she does not. It's actually very well done. I commend her. She sounded very focused and very direct. I am Britt Baker. I am a champion, and I make this title relevant, not the title makes me. Good. Now, do I want to see her going against Nyla Rose? No. No. Of course, it's a first offense. They're putting up against somebody that she's already been up against and she's lost multiple times. It's the wisest thing to do, but I don't agree with it for the simple reason it's the same damn people over and over again when they supposedly have a huge roster of women and they've barely shown them on television. Who have they shown the most of? Bunny, now Statlander. Penelope Forbes just showed up again. It's sad to see they got so many women, but they're barely showing them on television. I'm just saying. Now, let's move on to Penelope Forbes going against Yuka Sakazaki. There you go. I got it right, I think, this time. Here's the thing. I'm not against Penelope. I'm glad to see they're pushing her. I'm not against Sakazaki. Yuka, she's a cute woman. And she actually could wrestle. But here's the problem for me. Zero character. Zero. And that's the major issue with every female Japanese wrestler. No character. They don't do any character development. They just let them wrestle. The only one that had anything was Hiro Kushida. And even then it was a stretch because you never let her have any segments on Dynamite. What's the problem? You can't schedule anything for damn Dynamite where the majority of your fans are? It's not an Elevation. It's not on Dark. It's on fucking Dynamite. Why do they keep not getting the problem and not trying to make the solution? You got a whole bunch of women. Give them segments. Look what you did with Jade Cargill. You got her right. You let her get seen more than a few times. She didn't wrestle much, but she didn't need to because we had her in our heads that this is a damn bad bitch. We know who she is. But Hiro Kushida, you got nothing. Britt Baker, yes, she did some, but none of the other women. Why don't I get it? Why don't I get it? It's making me so angry. I'm botching my words. Why do they not get to put some more segments for women on Dynamite? I hope they do it for Elevation. I'm begging they do this for Elevation. No, not Elevation. Rampage. There you go. There's so many shows now. I'm not going to keep them straight. You got Dark. You got Elevation. Now you got Rampage. Now you got Dynamite. And instead of deciding, you know what? We didn't need Elevation. We are ending Elevation. We're going to have Dark as our developmental. We're going to have Rampage as the in-between between being on YouTube and being on basically before Dynamite so we can get people to get knowing these people. No, they got 4 freaking shows that most of people are not going to watch. Anyway, let's move on. Now, the interview for... Let's make this very quick. Was it important for Adam Page to say what he needed to say? Yes. When the Elite came out, did they need to come out? Yes. They made it very clear. And I believe it was Matt I think it was Nick who went up to the ring because I forgot. I think it was Nick who went up into the ring and pretty much said, "You're damn drunk. You used to be a part of us, but you left. You're an idiot for leaving us. And now you actually think you stand a chance getting the damn title." He made it very clear about that. Then the Dark Order came out. Once Adam Page was there to actually strike Nick, and he did. We got now a stipulation. And I don't know if it's for next week. I think it might be. 5-on-5 elimination match. If Hangman Page with the Dark Order wins, not only does he get his title shot whenever he wants it, that's at least what I get, he will be helping to give Dark Order some chance to get those damn titles off the Bucks. But if Kenny's side win, because he's all Kenny, Dark Order doesn't get their shot at the tag titles because they are going to be up for grabs. And Hangman Page must now walk away from trying to get the world title. because he made it very clear in his interview segment with Tony that this is what I need. This is what I've been wanting. I need that title because they were right. The Dark Order's right. I needed that title. It's what will define me. So this is what we got. Now, let me briefly say something about the 5 labors of Jericho. It's going to be interesting. I'm not going to say any more than that because I believe him and Spears is next week. And I'm going to leave it at that. I want to leave it at that because I want to be surprised. I don't want to think about it. I don't want to speculate. I'm hoping it's going to be a good match, but I'm going to leave it blank. Because I want to know how they're going to make this important once you reach near the 4th labor. Before the 5th one. What is it going to take? Are they going to repeat what happened with... No. Leaving it. Now, we had... what is this guy's name? Yuna versus Sammy Guevara. Now, Yuna is working with Best Friends. Probably due to the fact that Trent is still out. Trent. He's still out because I think he's getting his fusion to his neck. He's out. So there's no one there. Is it Chuck? Or is it Trent who's out? I can't remember who's out. I think it's Trent who's out with a neck fusion. He's out. But was it a good match? Yes, and I wasn't surprised Sammy won because Sammy is way older. Not way older. Let me put it like this. I think he's in my face. Sammy Guevara has built himself up very well. He has now been the heart of Inner Circle. He pretty much is in his hometown of Texas. He got a huge pop. He got a chance to have a really good match. And he beat the guy 1, 2, 3, unlike WWE, who would have buried his ass if he had been in his hometown. That ain't no joke. WWE would have buried your ass no matter if it's your birthday, if your kid was born, or whatever. They bury you. They would not let you have that moment on their show. I'm just saying. Let me see here. What am I forgetting? I'm forgetting nothing that I want to talk about. Coffin match. Let me put you like this. It would have been a very great coffin match if there were no damn commercials. Look at my face. I'm angry. You are giving us something special on national television. And instead of just for fucking once, you don't run any damn commercials on a very first time ever thing. Like a coffin match, which is a casket match from the WWE. This is the first time they're doing it. And instead of it being special, they refuse to stop the damn commercials. Picture in picture. Fuck fuck AEW. Like I said in my Gump report, try not to get angry because you mess up. And I got angry just now and I botched my words because this was a good match. You got Sting coming in, helping out Derby because I don't have to shout, unfortunately. One Scorpio Sky was in the casket and he attacked Darby. You see, I'm angry. This would have been a damn good coffin match. But the commercials messed it up for me. I'm not taking anything away from the match. I'm not. It was a good damn match. And I'm hoping Ethan Page didn't just blow out his knee. Because I think he might have hurt his knee. I'm hoping not. But those commercials messed up the entire thing. Now, in the end, Darby Allin won. And to make it very clear that he wanted Ethan Page gone, once he managed to nail Ethan Page and then get him into the coffin and close it, what did he do? He climbed onto the top turnbuckle and he coffin dropped into the damn thing, and I do have a shot of that in my face. This was a damn good ending if there had been no commercials. Now, is Fyter Fest a good show overall? Yes, there's a lot in there you'll probably like. Admittedly, there's going to be some that people are not going to like it because it's going to be a spot fest. And a lot of people who are very old school, who want something more substantial, will say the show was middle of the road. I believe that's what they're going to say. They'll say maybe half of it was really good, the other half was too much spot, and I just don't agree with it. For me personally, I did enjoy it. It didn't seem to be middle of the road for me personally because I'm the type of person that can adjust on the fly. They did some good things with Andrade. Yes, they did. I enjoyed the Tawny End bit, Malachi Black, even though they screwed up severely, having Excalibur again talking about Malachi instead of calling him Tommy End. Why didn't they just let him call him Tommy End? And then let Malachi Black say he's now Malachi Black. But a lot of the show was good. But it's just me. Have a good day. Have a good night.